where things almost make sense and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around.
Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Loutopia podcast. Here we are live on YouTube. We're moving on up, man. Steak dinner is no longer a Big Mac. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf, my co-host right beside me, my buddy Michael Merberg.
Good to be here.
It is good to see you, brother. You're looking good.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah.
You look like you changed your diet or something. You're starting to get a regimen.
I'm struggling with the low carbohydrate intake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing okay with it.
Good.
I'm kind of like in the groove. I'm just close to ketosis, but not really. So, I'm doing okay, though.
Well, I read an article this week that basically said what the perfect diet is.
Yes.
And there is absolutely no perfect diet in general, but there's a perfect diet for you. You just got to figure out what it is.
Yes. Well, I'm being sensitive to that. Like, I know I'm carbohydrate sensitive. I know too much sugar squirrels me out. So I'm staying lean, eating some proteins, chickens, fish, beef.
And don't forget to get your carbs and your greens.
My greens, I have no problem. I love the broccoli, all that stuff, kale and asparagus. I like all that stuff.
Well, you're doing it right.
Yeah. And limited, like I just had a couple of cookies because I need a little sugar boost. I use sugar as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And over there on mic number 3, it's our producer, Chris Gorgeous.
Good evening.
How you doing, brother?
I'm alive.
Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy week, man.
That's the topic of this week. Man, it's October 3rd in 2017. We're broadcasting out of Clearwater, Florida. Beautiful little town.
No, the world hasn't been destroyed yet, but...
Well, it was supposed to end a couple Saturdays ago, but we eked through that. And but I tell you what, Michael, I'm sure I'll appreciate your input on this. They're talking, but since these hurricanes and all that stuff have happened, this has been a really shitty summer, and the Indian summer, which I usually love, has been really difficult on the world. Not to mention Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Maria, those three things. Okay, not to mention the shootings in Las Vegas. And then on top of that, Tom Petty dies. Man, this is a rough week.
Yep.
And that's what the show is about, folks. You got to find that one golden thread, that one thing that'll keep you weaving, keep you moving forward. Where is the light at the end of the tunnel? Is there a little beam of happiness peeking through the clouds? And you have to stay with that. I don't know, man. It's I heard a theory the other day about since HAARP has been opening up the atmosphere, there's even rumors going around that both Hurricane Harvey and Irma and Maria were actually like whoopses with their experimentation. They got too big. They were Frankensteins.
Yeah, well, that's not unusual. One of the theories that I live by is that the human body and the earth are both energic forms in and of themselves, and the human body is a microcosm of the earth.
Yes.
And the earth is a macrocosm of the human body.
Yes.
And when you combine the two together, you have an environment in which both thrives in a natural environment. But once you start screwing with that, either way,
yes.
Like, for example, having too much artificial sweeteners, it causes an insulin resistance response and becomes problematic. You start screwing with the natural body of anything, and you're going to have problems.
Sure.
Science can go a long way, but it can't go as far as Mother Nature.
Amen. And wow, that's very insightful. And the shooting thing in Las Vegas. There's jokes, but we're above that.
Are there?
Oh, yeah, there actually is one.
Ugh.
What is
Like, God.
Well, the question is look what Congress is trying to do to lower the requirements for silencers on all rifles and handguns. And the joke is, well, at least you'll be able to hear the band.
Wow.
Oof, jeez Louise.
Wow. That's tender.
Tell everybody just in case they don't know what's going on, Lou, or they live under a
yeah,
rock.
okay.
And then while
I'm-
you do that, I can throw up, we can talk about a little bit. I've got a bunch of pictures and stuff.
Excuse me making the assumptions, folks.
Yeah.
Unless you've been living under a rock.
Or live in another country.
Or another country
Right.
that doesn't get the fine American news.
Fine America.
like we Americans always get all the time.
Yeah, Sunday night at a Jason Aldean concert in Las Vegas, a shooter loaded with artillery, opened up on an open crowd of 50,000 people,
22,000
22,000 people, and just started picking people off randomly.
from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Casino, which I'm putting a pictures. They show
Yeah,
the
look at
windows.
that. Yeah.
He had two separate vantage points from one room, and yeah.
And what I saw was the last count was 58 dead,
59 dead,
59, and
517 wounded
that's
or injured.
yeah, that's a really, really, and the only other joke I heard was, man, I told you New Country sucks.
Terrible.
Put up a graphic here of where he shot from, and there, right there, if you see on the screen there, Lou, that's
How far is that?
that says it's 437 yards from where he shot down to the big field where they had an open. It was the Route 91 Harvest Festival, which is a big country festival they have, a 3-day
Yeah.
festival.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, folks, the guy opened up fire, took out a bunch of people, killed a bunch of people, and I really cannot imagine personally a more frightening circumstance, not knowing where the person who wields your death.
I got a couple of pictures
Comes
of people running, and they were jumping over barricades. You can see here people just hunkered down. I think a lot of people didn't realize what was going on, and then people figured out that it was a guy shooting and reloading. So when he reloaded, people were running. It was crazy. And this picture here really says a lot. This guy basically over as a woman. I don't know if it's his wife or who, but kind of protecting her, and got pretty crazy. A lot of acts of heroism, a lot of acts of just people jumping into action, which I guess in all of this negativity is a positive thing anyway.
And that's what we're gonna try to unearth here today. How even something like this, even though as tragic as it is, I mean, I really can't imagine being there. I don't really know exactly how I would have responded to all that. I probably would have, grabbed whoever I loved and got the hell out of there. I'd have found a way if I had to throw them over a fence.
Well, you can see right there that photo. That's exactly what people are doing, getting tossed over a fence, anywhere they can get away from
Yeah.
what was happening.
Yeah. So, but
Literally like fish in a barrel.
yeah, I mean, and just a real ugly emotion for people. And what we're going to try to do this show is help you. Maybe we'll find a little beam of goodness that comes out of this. We are taking calls this show.
You got a call? You want to take it?
And sure, let's open up the phone lines. We're trying to find our way back to some thread of happiness. And welcome, caller. What's your name?
Oh, looks like they dropped.
Hello.
They dropped.
Okay.
Stage fright.
Yeah, whatever.
It happens.
Yep.
Well, okay.
We're live on IRN, by the way, right now.
Yes, we're live on the IRN Broadcast Network,
Oh, it's calling back
and
for
we're
it.
also live on the
Okay, now you're on.
the Lou Angel Wolf channel, Loutopia. Welcome to the Loutopia show. How can I help you?
Oh, hello?
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm just wondering, because I've seen your show, and you guys look like the people who did Vegas. Is that true or not?
We did what?
Vegas?
We did
Are you
Vegas.
guys who shot up the Vegas thing?
No, I don't think that we look much like that guy.
Why, are you from
You
the
kinda
FBI?
do.
What does that have to do
Yes,
with
I'm
anything?
Lieutenant Roosevelt.
Okay.
I've been
Roosevelt.
told that a fossil and whale both came out and started shooting
Oh,
people.
it's my favorite
And-
troll. Hey, he's back. Hey, we thought we lost you, buddy. Welcome
So
aboard.
you want to join ATF, dude?
Do you want to join what?
You got Discord, mate.
I don't even know what the hell he's saying.
He doesn't know what he's saying because he's 8. You're an infant, bro. You're an infant. You got anything to add, or are you just being a dick?
You want to go, mate?
You want to? Yeah,
You
I want
wanna
to go.
go?
Yeah, let's go right now.
You
Swing.
want to go?
Go, swing. Hit it.
1v1 me in Minecraft.
All right, bye-bye, buddy. All right, so we know the
Everybody
unknown now.
made a big deal about going to YouTube.
Live.
Yeah,
Live. Hey, we need better trolls than what we're getting. How do we upgrade
yeah.
this?
Can we
I
get
know.
good trolls
Oh, I
next
know
time?
he's not even good. He's all like, you guys look like the thing in Vegas, and you know what? Also, you're old, and I'm not old, and I'm going to keep going to the old thing because I have no brain yet.
It's like, does
that's
his
okay.
parents know what kind of drugs he's doing?
He's not doing any
He's not
drugs.
doing drugs. He's
He's a knobhead.
he he got left in the car a lot with no air on.
With the dog.
That's great, though, because the young guys are all like, I'm going to call you old. Like, we don't know that we're older than you.
Right.
Like, there's no
It's
old people on YouTube. It's just young people.
It's okay, man.
No, it's not.
You know, but here's the thing. It's literally the 2017 version of a prank phone call. You know, is really all. It
I
is.
suppose.
You know.
Yeah,
so-
but how many times did you call the same number back when
Hey,
you
is
did your
you-
prank phone call? You know what I mean? After the first time, you got some, and you're like, did you keep calling the same number and over again? No, you didn't.
well,
you went to another number.
Especially if you have nothing to say.
Actually, technically, that would be a harassing phone call. It is a misdemeanor.
Oh, the
Uh-oh.
lawyer kicked
So,
in.
Yeah, really. Former prosecutor, too. So, I don't know. You got that number?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, we can do the IP thing.
We'll
You want to let him know because I'm sure he's listening. Let
Yeah.
him know what the logistics are.
We'll see you next time, troll boy, and we got you all on tape.
That'd be frivolous lawsuit number
Oh,
101.
hey, you turn it over to the prosecutor's office, and they follow it up. It's not a lawsuit. It's
Really?
a criminal matter. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
wow.
You can't do this stuff, and you're not welcome to troll here. You do it again, and we're going to report you. Ha ha.
Oh, he just soiled his underoos.
We know you're a juvenile offender.
Okay, but you know what? What's happening right now is he's derailing the show, which
That's-
is
it's
all.
fine.
Which is all he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to derail him.
Yeah, we're going to
Watch
send him to Puerto Rico.
it. He has to work in relief.
All right.
All right.
Finding the calm
So
in the
anyway.
storm. You never said the actual title. You always dance around the title.
Yeah,
But you
finding
never-
the calm in the storm.
Yes,
That's
I had
exactly what we're trying to. And thank you. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, it's okay.
we should write things down.
I did write it down. You
We
sent
should.
It, oh, you sent it on my
I should.
phone. It's on your
I know.
phone digitally. You
know.
digitally wrote it down.
All right.
All right.
I've had a long day of negotiations.
I want my window back.
So anyway, well, folks, and that's what we're trying to, the Loutopia podcast every week. It's about health, humor, and well-being. We are new to YouTube. This is our third show on YouTube, but we've done over 100 Loutopia podcasts.
Yeah, the podcast is legit.
Yeah, and you can catch all the excitement on Loutopia.com. That's Loutopia, Loutopia.com. And IRN Broadcast Network. There's just an amazing amount of access to the podcast, and there's some stuff up on old shows on YouTube. There's if you're looking for me, I'm easy to find. Am I the whale or the fossil?
I'm still wondering. The kid doesn't discriminate. Let's give him at least
I
that.
lost 12 pounds. Can I be the fossil?
He could be the boss. Hey, Shamu's in pretty good shape last I checked.
He is, but what a miserable existence that is.
Well,
You have the ability to freely roam the seas of the earth. And no, you stay in this tank right here.
in Orlando.
In Orlando,
It's
right.
like, holy Christ, I'm in Orlando for
Sure.
life, and I can't leave.
Right, and then they get mad at you because some guy dressed like a sardine jumps in the tank with you. And you eat him. Circle of life, bro. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're looking for. This show is the silver lining. There's also one of my favorite conspiracy theories is the shooter. Okay, worked for Lockheed Martin.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, it's either China Lake or Area 51. I don't know.
Yeah, he's so in other words, he's directly involved in the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, it's weird stuff.
Could have been segmented out. Could have had the Manchurian Candidate type of training. And like everybody's going, he just snapped. He's not that kind of guy. He's if you look at the guy, I guess he's pretty well off.
I got a picture of him up on the screen. Stephen Paddock.
Semi-retired. And
younger picture of him, I guess.
Yeah.
Question is, what kind of engineer was he? Aeronautical or electronic?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because the electronic guys are a little on the schizophrenic side for the most part.
Yeah,
they are.
Well, they're short-wired or something. But anyway, and it's not. And if you now, Michael, you keep up on world events better than I do. So in other words, this happened. Total 100% attention to this scenario. We took our eyes off of everything else.
Right.
Which is human nature. It's the biggest fire in the forest, so run from it first.
Right.
So, but what I'm saying is, I know there's other scenarios in the world going on right now, especially with our military, that they might not want us to be paying attention to. And so even though it's cold-hearted and nasty as it sounds, maybe they set something like the government or the shadow government or whoever it is. We don't know who it is. They set something like this into place to divert all the news activity and to make a statement of a really bizarre type, and also to distract, the news theater away from some other precarious situation that the shadow government's trying to pull off.
Well, number one, the news that you get through the major networks, they don't have to go where they don't want to anyway. So you're not going to get the news that you want. You're going to get the news that they want to give you.
Yes.
So it takes a lot of independent research to go find out information. Like, for example, what was going on this week that we weren't paying attention to. Well, we talked about it last week. Is the embedding of U.S. Special Forces troops in ISIS in Syria, and I really am not sure what went on this week. But what was surprising about this is that this fellow, ISIS claimed that they had ties to this guy. They claimed, whether it's true or false, credit for this guy being, a follower of ISIS. There is information that this guy was also in Antifa and at anti-Trump rallies. So what's really strange about this is you have the greatest mass or the biggest mass murder this side of 9/11 happening by a fellow who's associated with the military-industrial complex and the left.
Yeah.
So is if it is something that is a plot or planned, and I don't jump there immediately. You just got to let the facts settle out for a while. Mm-hmm. But it would be the first time that you had a left-wing oriented person jump in with an automatic weapon and start killing people.
Yeah. Now, whether that's a spin or not, you don't know. That could be a pile of assumptions turned into a news story.
Right. Once again, you have to find out what's out there because you're not going to get this politically incorrect news from the major sources.
Well, there's 7 major news sources, and they all control, what we hear.
Right.
And so, but one thing that's beautiful, and we talked about it before the show, it is beautiful to be an empath because you get things via vibration, okay? And you get gut feelings. And I've been in a little bit of a cloudy funk. I'm a little tense. My neck is real tight, and I think a lot of it is, and it feels like it's falling down on top of me. And I don't really know how to find that. I've not found the light in the tunnel yet. I've not found the little beam of light to keep me going.
Well, remember what I teach. When in doubt, do nothing.
Yeah?
Okay, and just understand that the pendulum is always swinging, and it pretty much is always swinging at the same speed.
Yeah.
So even this too shall pass. Just give it time. Be patient.
Yeah. Okay. That's good advice. I did some meditating this morning. I was in a very, very hectic rush this morning, zooming around, and I really just had to stop on the side of the road and just make sure my car was in a safe place, and just take my hands off the wheel and do some deep breathing, close my eyes.
It's really amazing what a 3-minute meditation will do for you.
Yeah.
There's research out there that says even a 7-minute meditation can be as good as an 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
So
if you're doing
it's
it
an
right.
important part of the day.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, I was talking to my buddy Dale. I will have to have Dale on, my truck driving pal, Dale Hoffman. Really, one of the most brilliant truck drivers you'll ever meet. Guy's really well read. Got a degree from, I think, University of North Carolina.
And Driver Training Institute. Drive the big rigs.
Yes, you see what happens when you fill out those matchbooks? Yes, you too can drive the big rigs.
Well, that actually became University of Phoenix.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
The truck driving school?
Well, the matchbook thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now they have their own stadium.
Right.
The University of Phoenix Stadium.
Who would have thought?
That's where I went to learn how to do stand-up. University of Phoenix. Went to the AA course in stand-up humor.
Was it the same one? Is that the same place that had Draw the Lumberjack? Or can you?
It was the turtle. It was a turtle.
Can you draw the turtle, or can you draw Bambi?
Bambi.
Yeah. Is that University of Phoenix?
No.
Oh.
No, that was the Academy of Art.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had a college down in Fort Lauderdale, actually. That was their main campus.
Okay.
It's actually a legitimate art college.
Good.
I thought it was the Puerto Rican School of Design.
No. It was not.
It's too early for Puerto Rican jokes yet.
Unless you want to get the troll back on the phone.
No.
Hey, sorry.
That's the way you're going.
Let me
You're
throw that
angling
lure
your-
back in.
You're angling yourself up there.
Yeah. No.
See? You got him to call in.
It's troll chum.
That's great.
Yeah.
I would love for that kid to come to my stand-up show and pop off like that. I would love it.
Yeah. Well, he's probably not old enough to get in.
Doesn't matter. They come in anyway, Lou.
Did they?
Yeah, of
Underage
course.
kids?
Of course, dude. I've had 8-year-old kids at shows. Are you kidding me? Comedy clubs are like us. Well, are you drinking? Kid's 8. No. All right, come on in then.
What gigs are you playing?
Dude, comedy clubs.
They let 8-year-olds in.
Yes. I've been at the Improv, and there have been kids there.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
Yeah.
Tough to get a sitter.
It's an ugly thing.
Cheaper to buy a ticket.
I don't mind it. It's just awkward, because we do.
Sure.
I cover adult things. You skirt around them.
Oh, yeah.
I just, and I try not to change the set, but
Hey, we're going to go see our buddy Dr.
Dr.
John
Dirty.
Valby.
Yeah, Dr. Dirty.
Come on, kids. He sings songs.
Yeah, it's like me taking Jake to go see Pretty Paul Parsons. It's just not appropriate.
Yeah, you shouldn't. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. We're broadcast every week here on YouTube, Loutopia.com, the IRN Broadcast Network. We have the facilities when we're getting the information out. So what I'm just noticing there's like a major funk, and it is just like something big opened up and everything changed. The last 60 days have been kind of wobbly, kind of gray and murky.
I think I can chime in on that.
What do you got going there, Chris?
It's your president. He's got everybody jacked, dude. Ever since this president's taken office, everybody has been crazy out of their minds.
Yeah.
That's about what? About 60, about a couple of months, 60-day, couple of months. Yeah. That's what the answer is.
I'll give you a little bit there.
Well, dude,
I see Trump more as a symptom.
well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, we always get the leaders we deserve.
I see him as a divining rod.
Maybe he and Steve Harvey could change places. Give Trump 7 TV shows and let Steve Harvey run the country.
Steve Harvey's crazy, dude.
He's out his mind.
Yeah, have you ever listened to him? I don't know what he's talking about half the time when he's doing
He's
his
rambling
jokes.
when somebody about.
He's a scat comedian.
Stop it, shouting.
And you're like, oh, is there a
yeah,
punch?
well,
There's a punchline in there, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Mush mouth. Open your mouth, Steve Harvey.
The scat comedian. That's funny.
That would be an amazing 8-minute set.
Oh, yeah. If it can
Just
complete,
gibberish, the whole thing in gibberish.
complete nonsensical scat with great punchline.
Yeah, skitty bapa skitty.
Your mama.
Well, although I've got a comment on the Trump thing. It really was hilarious and sad to watch him talk about Puerto Rico being an island in an ocean, in a very big ocean.
In the wind.
Dude, I posted a clip.
I saw it. I was like,
Listen,
It's a second grade book report.
but here's the thing. I agree with you, and I posted that clip just because of its absurdity. And I got hammered by people. You stop picking on the president. I'm like, dude, can you not just look at this video and go, what in the hell are you doing right now?
Right, exactly.
I'm sorry, but leave your party crap out of it. And just look at that and go, well, that person's talking nonsense.
I get it. I get it. And he's
drives me insane.
Well, but remember when we saw Brian Regan a couple weeks ago?
Right.
He goes, who would want the job of being president?
Trump.
He goes, every morning somebody wakes you up. Trouble. There's trouble.
That's great.
And it's always 4 a.m. in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning.
After
Trouble.
you've gone to bed at 2.
Yeah. So I will say the guy's probably deliriously tired.
But here's the other thing, Lou.
And
You
he's
say he's
delirious.
deliriously tired, but he's got staff to write shit down for him to read to the people. They have staff that does that for him. If he doesn't want to come from the heart, he can just say, look, write a paragraph, be nice,
He thinks he's Jake LaMotta.
and I'll read it. He's Jake
He thinks,
LaMotta.
he thinks he's Jake LaMotta winging it.
The later Jake LaMotta,
Yeah,
right?
old Jake LaMotta in Miami Beach.
That's great.
Who needs writers when you can tweet?
But he was speaking.
And somebody take away his tweeter
Yeah.
or whatever that is.
You know, it's crazy.
But Mike hit it on the nail. It is. It's like a fifth grade book report from a kid who did not read the book at
Right.
all. He read the back cover right before he went to class, and now he's just, you know what? Fuck it.
You
I'm
will
gonna-
often find people in this situation have similar trouble.
well, see,
keep going,
Chris.
Wait.
And then at the end, the good guy says, I've had enough. And then everything changes, and we all live happily ever after.
I liked the book, and it was good. Thank you. Chris, you give him too much credit. You said it was like a fifth grade book report.
I'm sorry.
I won't go past second. Maybe an SLD fifth
I
grader,
read the
but
book,
you know.
and it was good. I love it.
I'm trying to find the calm in the storm, Lou.
Yes.
But as you know, as a comic, and you're not into it as much as I am, being on Facebook, being on these platforms is important for us to be, in the middle of all the posts and the political and the blah. There's show posts. Hey,
yeah,
come
sure,
see
you
me.
got to get your dates out there.
Right. So, but it is, you can't have an opinion. At least I can't have an opinion. If you're not a supporter of Trump, people really get freaked out on you.
Well,
Even
you
even with the shooting now, with the hurricanes, any sort of criticism.
and we haven't even mentioned Mexico. And we haven't even mentioned
the earthquake in Mexico, right?
the
Huge
earthquake in
earthquake.
Mexico.
Yep.
Okay, and we haven't even mentioned the volcano under Yellowstone Park.
Right.
Well,
is having freaking tummy trouble.
Mount St. Helens.
Political correctness has ruined comedy.
It has.
It's like, everybody takes offense at everything instead of giving it a chuckle and say, that was funny, but it's a little offensive, but it's
Exactly.
still funny. They don't do it anymore. Everybody wants to take offense and be offended and not laugh.
Yeah, I know.
There's something more to it, Mike. It's some weird spiritual, like, twisty tie thing happening where, all right, let me see if I can lay it out linearly, all right?
Okay.
So first it started where, the liberals were, very like, you got to be sensitive to people, which I'm totally on board with. You should have to be sensitive to people, right?
Right.
Then the other side was like, you guys are a bunch of pussies. You need to stop it. You're a bunch of snowflake pussies, and Trump can say anything he wants because this is how it is. We hate political correctness, right? So then he wins, right? And then the liberals are like, fuck this. Now we're going to say some shit. And and now the other guys are like, stop picking on Trump. You need to be more sensitive to his needs and stop being, it's like, what in the shit in hell is happening right now? It's a flip-floppy weird thing.
well, really, it is. It's like a junior high playground fight.
Oh my God.
Well, Lou, we went to see a movie a couple of weeks ago, and
Yes.
what was it?
Metropolis.
Metropolis, okay. And the theme of that movie comes out and says, look, the heart is the mediator between the head and the hands.
Yes.
And what's going on right now is that the political left has always been the heart of the country, and the political right has always been the mind of the country.
Okay.
And what we have is a dysfunction, a disconnect between the heart and the mind.
Right.
So without them combining together, then we're going to continue to have these kind of problems,
Sure.
and continued polarization.
Right.
And we will be self-destructive, just like an individual would be when the heart and the mind don't match.
Exactly.
So that's what's going on right now.
yeah.
We have to realize that
That's good.
the heart needs the mind just as much as the mind needs the heart, and then you can't separate the two. And the further apart you get, the worse off you're going to be.
But I think what happens is, as the disdain grows for each side, the hands forget that they need the mind to create things for their hands to do. And then the mind says, we're so far superior to the hands. You know, all we have to do is think about it, and we don't really actually have to do it ourselves. So these gaps in accountability and relatability to each other, because you need both. I mean, you need the whole thing. The whole thing should work. You know, I mean, management and labor, I mean, needs to, work together.
Right. You need to recognize the dark side of yourself in order to recognize, the dark side of somebody who's an other.
The dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dark side. And that is true too, man. I was reading something the other day. Oh, and that was the other thing. I'll close as well. I was talking about Dale. I said, Dale, I think I hurt myself the other day. And he goes, what? I said, I watched like 5 hours of David Icke. And he said, or Ike, whoever. And he goes, oh, yeah, man. He goes, that guy will get in your head and build a tent and set up a bonfire and go fishing with you, And he's a brilliant guy, man. He does those 9 to 12 hour dissertations. Mm-hmm. And I've watched, and I got, on that kind of stuff, I've got an attention span. I've been studying conspiracy theory and, alternative truths since 1991. So, and I mean, I saw the first guy, Ralph Epperson, who was introducing the New World Order to everybody.
Right.
He wasn't the first guy, of course. It happened back in the 40s.
Right.
They had their beans spilled. But, yeah, it's when you kind of know that all that stuff's going on, and then you watch the newscasts or whatever, and then you just, all you can do really is shake your head because it's 99% baloney.
Right.
And
it's not even good baloney.
No, it's not. It's the freaking Gwaltney chicken pork combination baloney. The 99-cent baloney is what it is. And you get frustrated, folks, and that's where we all notice this. And so, folks, on the second half, which is coming up in just a little bit, we're going to try to find the light. We're going to try to find the peace that will give us a little bit of comfort. And thank you so much for listening to the Loutopia podcast. We're going to take a short break. We got music by who's our music?
Rise of Saturn, baby.
The Rise of Saturn.
Yep.
Rock on. All right. So we'll be back in just a little bit. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. Mike Merberg's here. Chris Gorgeous. The second half usually has the lovely and talented Beth Snyder, but she has obligations that she has to fulfill. But we'll fly the flag at half-mast for her.
Oh, beep, beep, bitty, bitty, bo. Oh, beep, 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 papa. Bo, beep, 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 bo. Tweet, bo, beep, bo, 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 beedo, bo, 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 bo. Boo, bo, dibbity, 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 booyah. Way, yo. I never before seen that in my life. Whoa. I never before seen that in my life. Seen that in my life. Whoa. I never foreseen that in my life. start with a wink and a nod. Call him 24 and 20 packs of smokes. Clearing out the cabin where he kept the 64. WrestleMania all day long. What could go wrong? Looking sheet to the head, knocking pieces for the song. And I'm picking up the pieces of gray matter on the floor. Try to get my IQ back to 164. And I try as I may, I try as I might. I try arm and slash cause I'm cloud strive. If I think that you can, I think that you will. Now take it with a glass of water and 2 pills. And you'll feel better every day. Well, yeah, 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 yeah. I never before seen that in my life. Whoa. I never before seen that in my life. Whoa. I never before seen that in my life. Whoa. I never before seen that in my life. Now just sitting reminiscing about the days of the position. Sexual statues up in the kitchen. CC no care, we drunk off one beer. Laughing so hard that we burst into tears. Now Dizzy was a man, and man it was a man. Now coffee stain turning inside out, that's the plan. I bruised up my knees trying to fight off them bees. Crying if you will, take it down and knock the please. Now 1 lesbian and 5 virgin males. We all getting laid into wish well. I tried really hard, I tried so hard and I stopped because I felt just short. If I think you can do it, I know we can be it. So why don't we get together and see if it works out for the better or worse. We'll do it to the end, of course. I never before seen that in my life. Whoa. I never before seen that in my life. Whoa. I never before seen that
world where things almost make sense and most everything is interesting and mildly unique. It's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Hey, we made it back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Loutopia Part 2. Today, we are finding... what's the official title, Chris?
I'm going to let you guess.
The crease in the sheets.
What?
The crack in the globe.
All right. There's no crease or crack.
The
Hold on. Here
pin.
we go. I'm going to put it up on the screen.
Ah, the calm in the storm.
Finding the calm in the storm.
Finding the calm in the storm. Because there is a storm going on in Thousand Beach.
You texted that to me. Look at that beautiful graphic.
That is very, very nice.
Yeah, cool.
That's very calming.
I got a couple of them. You want to see? You asked
Sure,
me for
let it
sunset.
rip, baby. Yeah,
You asked me for sunset.
Come on,
so
man.
we got,
Look at that.
Wait, it's not up on the screen yet. Now it's live.
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go. See, huh?
Yeah,
It's
that's
nice.
very
right?
nice.
Yeah. Sunbeams. Then you asked for sunset.
Yeah, the sunset. That's for the end of the show, I guess.
You want me to put that at the end of the show?
Yeah, sure.
Right,
why
here's
not?
a special one for you.
And that one, I think, that's from Harp. That one. That's a special harp cloud.
Yes, you could see. It's
Yeah, Mike, you're the expert.
musical notation there. It's actually a
treble
flat,
clef?
not a sharp.
That's a treble clef, is what that is. Treble clef cloud.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast, and we are, we're trying to make, some kind of reason out of these days right here. A lot of problems going on in the world, and I think there's a general heaviness. Last week we did a show about the global funk, and there has been some type of paradigm shift or energy change. It's not the same.
Yeah, we've run out of energy.
You think?
Yeah, of certain sorts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can rebuild it.
Yeah, you can, but you got to realize that after 17 years of constant war,
Yes.
and the longest war in American history, in which we've dealt the fair share of misery to a lot of people out there,
Yes.
and gone places where we had no business going.
For the weirdest frickin' reasons in the world.
Yeah, like oil and money.
That.
And not that weird.
And other. But, you got to expect that kind of energy that you put out there is going to come back to you.
You're going to get what you give, baby.
Exactly.
That's how it is. And I think there was some aching hearts on the Facebook pages the other night. And I feel bad for people, especially, like if you're single and alone in this world and all this stuff is happening around you. I'm very, very fortunate. I've got, my beautiful Pamela, and, I got a shoulder to cry on if I need one. And somebody there to, it's kind of helping me with my life, and I'm helping her with her life. It's a very, very nice energy direction that I'm in right now. But I know there's a lot of people that, they're really alone. And when stuff like this goes on and they don't necessarily have anybody to sound off to, and don't have anybody to hug, or don't have anybody to take a ride out to the beach and let's talk about stuff, I feel bad for you. But just know, in the same way, I'm sending you some love, and I'm also trying to remind you that these times are times where you truly learn, and you can truly make changes in your life. Because sometimes the universe clears your decks.
Well, it's an illusion to think that you're alone.
Yes.
You know,
that's
so
true.
get over the illusion and accept the reality that we're all connected and everything is going to be better.
Yes. Well, and
There's some people in my neighborhood that I don't want to be connected to.
Well, you are two tough cookies.
Show them your dark side.
There is love flowing both ways, though, Lou. Ira and Brightcast just IM'd you on your YouTube and said that you're Kung Fu.
I am. Thank you. Thank you. I love me in Kung Fu. And that's what I'm saying. But your first step away, and really a lot of it's based in a victim mentality, okay? Your first step away from that is realizing that you are part of a bigger thing. You know, even if it is just Chris's neighbor that he doesn't necessarily care to get to know. But at least you have them, and you don't even hardly know them. If you got to know them better, you might like them better.
I'm kidding. I love everybody.
Do you?
Yep.
Really? I don't.
I'm serious. I don't.
You love everybody? Like, what kind of love is that?
I mean, as far as like empathy and not apathy, I would help anybody, devoid of what their backstory is. I really would.
Do you love them simply for their humanity?
Yeah, we're the same species, man.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right.
And not just that. I help animals too. I'm just saying, I get it. No, but I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been a caregiver for
That's true.
years. I've seen people in their worst possible
Yeah.
scenarios with respects to dignity and mortality, and I understand how important it is to be connected to other humans.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Or anything for that matter.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. You give of yourself.
And I get paid. But the thing, I'm kidding.
Do you care if I call you a male nurse?
No, why?
Oh, okay.
I am a male nurse. I'm a
know,
male
I like
and
that.
I'm a nurse. Why?
I like-
Why is that such a weird thing?
It's so like
You're so 1950s.
it is. It's like so 1969 laughing.
Listen, young man, you mind if I call you a male nurse? I don't want to offend your sensibility.
Alan Suze is doing a skit about male nurses.
Do you have to wear the get up, or can you wear pants? That's what I need to know.
So Paul Lind walks in, and his cravat is torn. Well,
No, I'm not just saying that. I do. I may complain and I may come off as a cynic, but in my heart,
you've seen, in your profession of caregiving, you've seen people literally. You've seen people cross over. You've seen people leave the earth more times than a lot of people.
Yeah, it's true.
And
Both naturally and violently.
And that is the universe respects you for that, because that is a privilege to watch somebody leave. And
it's an interesting word.
yeah, it is a privilege to watch somebody leave.
It's a weird dichotomy thing, because you almost feel like you're interloping in somebody's private life. You know what I mean? Yeah, but it's your job to. I mean,
Right.
you're there to give that service to them. But
The universe arranged for you to be there.
Yeah, you almost feel like
it's your shift.
You almost feel like isn't there somebody else that's better qualified to be here for this?
Yeah, that's why on one of my cars I keep a hospice license plate, and it says "Every day is a gift," which I firmly and wholeheartedly believe. And but the hospice people, man, that's a beautiful beam of your soul journey right there. People that go, okay, I'm going to be a hospice nurse, or I'm going to be a hospice caregiver or whatever. And man, that is just constantly about, you're at the end of somebody's novel, you're on the last 3 pages.
And there's also the flip side of that is after death, the hospice people actually they do grief counseling. So
Yes.
for the remainder of people that have to survive after a loved one dies, that they're still around for them too.
Yeah. Yeah. My heart tugs me towards that in my life, to maybe be a grief counselor or whatever.
Yeah, my mother was a grief counselor.
Was she?
Yeah, she was always happiest when there were other people that were more miserable than she was around her. But, nonetheless, she loved what she did.
That's one way to load the rifle.
Hey,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. But I've thought of, because I've been there. I guess I've seen some people cross over too, and I've done some grieving, and widows and people left behind, sons and daughters, and widowers. Boy, sometimes you don't really realize how soft a guy can be. Sometimes, man. It's So anyway, this is the little cloud that has drifted over us here lately, and I feel I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to find the little break, the little piece of respite, for the I'm giving a hand out. The show, we are taking calls on the show. 727, what's the number again? 475.
You got a call right now. It's 475-6139, 727 area code. Got to call it.
Okay, hey, welcome to the Loutopia show. Hello?
You there?
No, hello?
She there?
I don't know.
There.
Loutopia?
Okay, here, try it again. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Loutopia show.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I was inquiring about your male nurse.
Do you have services that need to be rendered in a medical capacity?
He's a male nurse, not a wet nurse. Now, come on. Let's,
You know who this is? I know who this is.
I know who it is.
There
too.
are always services that need to be, rendered.
Well,
I am open and welcoming.
Aw.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, that's for those of you who don't know, that's our pal Rose. And you know what? I think Rose.
What?
I think you hit the nail on the head, because we're trying to find the golden thread in the burlap sack here, and the fact that we have access to some laughter still in our life to help you kind of shake this funk off.
Absolutely. I think I heard part of the podcast, first half, and I think part of the problem is momentum, is that people just keep jumping on and the ball keeps rolling rather than, stopping the motion, focusing on yourself. And, as Chris says, if you can help and lend a hand, do that. Otherwise, just shut the bleep up.
Stay out of my way. I'm trying to save a life here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be
absolutely.
peaceful and whole. Piss off.
That's it. Yep, it's finding peace in yourself rather
Yes.
than, trying to change everybody and trying to change the world and what happened and what's been happening are things that will happen and have been happening for centuries. And we've got the media, it puts it out there. It's a horrible tragedy, but,
Well,
10 years from now, 5 years from now,
I
it happens.
Well, what it all falls back to, and I will blame television writers. You guys just weren't good enough. The stories that you were telling us, they just wouldn't hold up to the real news. And there was a crossing over when all the news networks came in. They have fantasticized news for a couple of decades now, and this is what we've got. This is the the whiny baby that we weaned.
Well, news today is to news as reality TV is to reality. It's all a stage
That's it.
hocus
I
pocus.
think, I also think that, we need to stop looking for someone to blame. Just, something, you get a flat tire and you get pissed off that someone threw a nail in the road and, it starts to rain and you get pissed off that, something or what, there's always a blame. There's always a negative. Just let go of all that negativity. That's what it is. It's just like giving negativity momentum, and that's not good.
Right. And we have, but it seems like we just have, fireballs of it coming at us from all directions, just between Houston and Puerto Rico and Irma and the Mexican earthquake
Taking a knee.
and Las Vegas and what?
And taking a knee.
And taking a knee.
Well, let me chime in as I always do. It's the voice of dissent, and say that as a voyeur, which I admittedly that I am. I am.
I like to watch it.
Yeah, but
Oh,
just
me too. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
just in general, I am fascinated. I am fascinated by human nature, and I like that this stuff is covered. I like to see what other people are doing. I know that a lot of it is tragic. But it's part of what's happening on the planet. I think that access.
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
yeah, and I think the access to me is titillating. It's some of it's sad, right? But also, hey, we're getting to see stuff people 20, 30 years ago would never get a chance to see.
Yeah, but and what I'm saying is, there's so many news days happening now. Like there's like so many huge news stories all popping at once, and OJ is pissed. He didn't get any press, man. OJ's out, and they thought there's nobody following him.
No, he dipped out. He's like, I don't, just stay away.
I give him 6 months until he's back.
The press said we don't know where he went, so that to me said OJ was like, don't say shit to anybody about anything, please.
Well, if he's out on parole,
Uh-huh.
any screw up, he's back in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he on parole?
Yeah. I believe he did a sentence. I believe he's on parole. I could be mistaken. But
Rose, how did you fare the hurricanes? Did you do okay?
I did, thankfully, very well.
Very well. Would you end up at a 4-star hotel? What happened?
I found a treasure chest of cash that floated up to my doorstep.
That's a winner.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you, Irma.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, thankfully, pretty safe, and just a lot of stress and anxiety dealing with it beforehand, but everything worked out, pretty calmly in the end, and grateful.
I talked about my dad on stage because my dad is like, he's one of those guys like sort of like Mike a little bit, but to the extreme where he's like, I don't believe anything they say on the television, even though he's got it on all the time. Right. So first it was he didn't believe the storm was that big. I'm like, dude, they have a picture of it. It's massive. Like, I don't know why you don't understand. That's an actual satellite photo. And then he's like, well, it's not going to affect us. I'm like, it's going to affect the whole state.
Right.
And he's like, well, we're not near the cone. And like, we're in the cone, dude. We're not near the center of the centrifugal. I'm like, yeah, not yet, but maybe. And even if we're not, it's still a pretty serious storm.
Still a shitstorm.
Yeah, that was totally me. That was like, this thing's not
No,
happening.
he took-
they're making it up. This is not happening.
But he took it to the extreme, Rose. What he did was, so I asked him, I said, look, do you have any batteries? And he's like, if it doesn't run with a crank, I don't need it. And I'm like, all right, look, you don't have anything with a crank, dude. Do you have?
Okay, Commander McBragg.
Yeah, MacGyver. Do you have any water? Oh, I got a faucet right there. I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that water comes out of the faucet. I saw that meme, okay? But I'm like, what if the water goes out? It'll be raining. I'll drink the rainwater. I mean, he just didn't want to admit that he was in any danger or there was any problems. And listen,
well, hey, it's a high level of acceptance.
It is, but he lives in a dilapidated ass house that was built like if a tree hits it, he's done. Okay,
Right.
It doesn't take much. Sure. So he rides it out. He's got a week and a half, no power. It's hot as balls in there. It's hot.
Yeah.
So after he gets his power back, he says to me just off the cuff, he's like, you know what I think? You know what I think I'm doing? I'm like, what's that? He's like, I think I'm gonna get a generator. I'm like, oh, now you're gonna get a generator. Okay, now you want to jackass.
Well, you know what?
God's honest truth, man.
I believe it's verbatim. I believe it's verbatim. But also, too, your dad showed some enlightenment there.
He remained calm.
He was accepting the situation as it was.
But he acted like I was panicking. I wasn't panicking. I'm just like, look, I'm going to go get some
you're
supplies.
in a different situation than he
I've been a week and a half with no power.
Right.
Been there. And
you're a family guy taking care of your wife and son.
Right.
He's an old man taking care of his socks. So,
You know what I thought was funny about this all? People are running around going, oh my God, they're out of water. And it's like, hey, you still have a faucet. You got sinks. You got a tub. I mean, there's something known as tap water or well water. People have been drinking it for centuries.
And let me drop some science on the listening audience here, too. This is from the movie, I think it's from Water or something like that.
While you talk about that, I'll throw up shots of actual real problems that people dealt with during the storms, other than their tap water being sketchy.
Yeah, well, there's some tap water issues right there.
Yeah,
but the bottled water that you buy and you pay so dearly for it, by law from the FDA, only has to be as clean as tap water. It only has to be. It is no cleaner, and your tap water gets checked 7 times a day for its levels. Bottled water?
What about distilled water? Distilled
bottled water once a month. That's their safety check. Okay, so what I'm saying, and now distilled water, it's been heated and then re-chilled or something.
Right. Yeah. You steam
distilled.
it.
It's like a vodka type thing.
I'll have a vodka with some distilled water, ice cubes, please.
Not everybody reads the dictionary the same way, but anyway.
No.
Yeah, and distilled water is helpful. Although distilled water does have its critics, saying that it doesn't have any minerals left in it, and
it may be deleterious to your health.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what they say, but, who are they?
Those people. That guy.
Well, the only thing I put distilled water in, I mean, I don't iron, but I
Your
do
steam
use,
iron?
I do use it in my radiator.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't-
Good thinking.
It's all I drink is distilled.
Yeah.
explains a lot, Rose.
Oh, yeah. Does it really?
Funny.
I love you, too.
I know you do.
Well, thank you so much for calling. You're welcome to hang in there if you like, Rose.
Oh, sure. I'll let you guys go and continue your momentum of
Finding the peace.
negativity and
Yeah, we're finding the calm in the storm. We're finding the calm in the storm, and
vibrationally, you will attract all that negativity that you're putting out there. So
it's true. It's true. You're exactly right. So it's time to shake it off.
shake it off.
And that's
Shake it off.
Thank you, Rose.
Okie doke.
And that is the hard part. Is getting that momentum back, like she's saying, like we like all of us got hit just like like rock'em sock'em robots here this last few weeks. It's been shots from every direction, and not to mention your own personal griefs. You got all the media blitzes on everything that's wrong on the planet, and then your own particular thing, like, oh, that was a weird little lightheaded feeling I just had. Where'd that come from? So trying to keep it all together. And then where I really wound up wobbling down the hallway was watching all those David Icke shows about the what began World War I, what began World War II, watching all that alternative and perhaps more truthful history.
Right.
I know the other side, I know the school book side, but this side makes a lot more sense.
Right.
Because now you see the motivation. Before, the school book side, the motivation was chiefly patriotism. That's everybody. We're Americans, and you just can't do that to us. We're going to fight that. And but now that we're older, and we've seen some deals happen before our eyes, you start looking to where the deal came in, and boy, is it murky, boy.
Right, and then you start realizing that the same people keep on making the deals, and they keep on benefiting from them. And it's been gone on for generations and generations and families.
And you are absolutely correct when you mean the same people. It's the families. It's the entire these politicians and heads of things are they all have blood lineage and.
Then you get into the whole, the whole reptilian thing, and
whoever they are.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, God. I mean, some of the stuff that has started to get leaked out about the deep state and their association with the extraterrestrials of different sorts and kinds. I mean, it's real. I mean, I posted this past week on 10 statements from 10 different astronauts saying, yeah, they're out there and we've seen them. So, it befuddles me like how Americans are still getting the story from NASA that we think there's life out there somewhere, and then they're like, well, they're among us. It's like, wait a minute.
Here's a selfie.
I know these guys.
Here's a selfie with me and Nabura.
Right. So like, how much bullshit are you going to feed us before all that we do is like, tastes like bullshit.
Yeah. Well, and there's just, if it was a dozen stories or a few hundred stories, there are thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of UFO sightings, UFO interactions. They have made contact with many, 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 many people. And unless you know that person directly, like if it happened to you, I could find out firsthand. But it seems like those people, when it happens to them, they get stifled.
Right.
The story never gets out. Maybe on a small local level, maybe if you called the local mullet rap, they'll print it.
And people don't ask enough questions. I mean, we have over 6.5 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars that are unaccounted for in the last 15 years of military budgets. Okay, that's trillions of dollars.
Trillion.
So where has it gone? Where has it? I'm sorry, we can't account for that, sir.
Wow.
It's like, and that's the answer we get all the time. So You know, I mean, you gotta connect the dots at some point in time and stop being intentionally ignorant.
And that's David Icke's show, Dot Connector.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all out there. These are facts, and all you got to do is dig them up and find them. You got testimony, you got reliable people saying stuff, and the world is a lot weirder than what you get on CNN.
Yeah, it's actually milked down. You know, it's cut into bite-sized pieces.
Like, we don't want to frighten you guys with
if you
the
knew
truth.
what the real shit was going on,
right? You know, I had somebody actually say, I mean, how could this this mass murder happen in America? And I said, well, number one, first you have to read something called Operation Northwoods, which was promulgated by the U.S. military at the time of John Kennedy, which was to attack civilian personnel here in the United States and blame it on Cuba so he could bomb Cuba into the Stone Age.
Right.
So, and that's a historical fact. And then you connect the dots for, the let's pull it and, building number 7 and connect the dots back to building number 1 and 2 and then, find out where the money trail is, you know?
And I'm really amazed that some of the people that buy the government line especially on building 7, the government line is that the building collapsed due to the heat from the flames.
Right.
And the jet fuel fell on the roof of it and created this incredible heat. And then it fell in a perfect munition-style destruction.
And then we got the same thing, with the Kennedy assassination. It still has not been made public.
Right.
The facts that were gathered by the FBI.
Right.
And it still has not been made public the involvement of the CIA, if any, in the assassination and the murder.
Sure.
We had the right to that on the 50th anniversary of those events.
Right.
And we still don't have it.
Right. Of course, it's too fresh in our memories or something.
Right, then they would know the jig is up, and then there are people that are still alive that are still involved with it, and then we'd essentially grab them and and kill them.
Sure.
I
yeah.
mean,
well, ladies and gentlemen,
go on. I mean, the Warren Commission was just set up to fail, just like the 9/11 Commission was set up to fail, underfunded and set up to fail.
Sure.
And if they didn't have the findings in the Warren Commission that they had, then there would have been major repercussions against the government that we had at the time. And if they had sent on towards the Soviets, and we would have had a nuclear war on account of it.
Well, yeah, and there are many people on the other side that know exactly what all happened, and all that stuff's been censored and cut out, and lost and forgotten, and
dead men tell no tales.
Dead men tell no tales. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the face of all that, and knowing that we're really in an old mud fight here, and with all the current stuff that's been going on in the world, all the sadness and the grief, and we're all just amazed at what's going on. You still have the element of love inside of you, and it is aching for some attention. The element of love wants to grow inside you, wants to expand through your cells, and wants to fill you with a warmth and a joy that that it's retracing that happiness back, just coming back to where you've experienced this joy before. And your body longs for it. So does your mind, so does your soul. And like Michael had said before, just some short meditations can certainly help you there. 3 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever you can squeeze in. And the main thread of this show has been the Mellow Festo, the pacifist riot, is that love is the greatest power of all. It totally wins in the end. So if you're looking at this as the big love war here on Earth, every once in a while, hate and fear, they win a couple of rounds. But love is the core. And even though, like you were saying, this horrible thing that happened in Las Vegas with all the shootings, there were still some people that really rose to the occasion. There were some people that found their new path in life. That may help even more people. So you can't cut it all out. You can't. I mean, it's horrible, and I don't think I know anybody that was in that group. But I'd be so sad for them and their family, and grieving and loss. But what, one of the 4 agreements is don't take anything personally, even your death. You know, I mean, it happened the way it was supposed to happen, as much as we don't understand these things.
Well, talking about numbers, the one thing that I would encourage everybody to do is do not give up your 3 treasures. And your 3 treasures are simplicity, patience, and compassion.
Simplicity, patience, and compassion.
If you give those up, then you create enemies. If you don't give those up, then you will have no enemies.
That's good enough to close on this week, brother. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Loutopia podcast. Rose, thanks for the call. Lovely to hear your voice and share your wit. Even our little knuckleheads that called in the beginning. You got to find the love for them. You got to love them too, Chris.
Nah.
Michael Merberg, have a great week.
You too, Lou. Thanks. And Chris, thanks again.
Yeah, you guys, this is Lou Angel Wolf from the Double Special Studios in Clearwater, Florida. You can listen to the show again on the IRN Broadcast Network or Loutopia.com. And when you get a minute or 3, read The Pacifists Riot on Loutopia.com. It's our little Mellofesto, and we're going to start talking about the big event, the big Pacifist Riot event that is being born in our minds, hearts, and souls. Have a great week. See you next week.